How do I know if Allah has accepted my worship? How do we know if our prayers, our worship, and our devotion on this blessed night have truly been accepted by Allah? The answer lies in three profound changes that take place in our hearts and lives when Allah accepts our worship. These changes are not just fleeting moments, but lasting transformations that reflect a deeper connection to our Creator. They are signs that our estimation of Allah has increased and our relationship with Him has deepened. The first sign of an accepted act of worship is that, when Allah accepts your worship, you will find yourself willing to sacrifice more for Him. Worship will no longer feel like a burden. It will become your joy, your refuge, and your priority, even when you are tired, sleep-deprived, or facing hardship. You will remind yourself in moments of difficulty that Allah is worth every sacrifice, no matter how great. Your love for Him will overshadow the discomforts of this world. When the choice arises between righteousness and sin, you will naturally incline toward righteousness. You will begin to choose the path of truth, even when it is harder or requires more effort, because your heart is now attached to Allah. If waking up for Fajr was once a struggle, you will now rise with ease, because you understand that the sweetness of being in Allah's presence surpasses the fleeting comfort of sleep. If fasting felt difficult, you will embrace it with love and a sense of gratitude, recognizing that every moment of hunger and thirst is a way to draw nearer to Allah. If avoiding sin was once a challenge, you will now feel empowered and strengthened against temptation, knowing that resisting sin is a manifestation of your love and obedience to Allah. Why? Because Allah is worth it. This is the first sign. A heart that willingly sacrifices for Allah, seeking only His pleasure, not out of obligation, but out of a deep, inner desire to be closer to Him. The sacrifice becomes a source of joy, because you are now walking in the light of His mercy and love. The second sign of an accepted act of worship is that Allah takes up a greater share of your thoughts, time, and resources. Your mind becomes more focused on what pleases Allah and less consumed by the distractions of the world. Your ears will incline more toward the remembrance of Allah, and you will find it easier to avoid gossip and useless speech. The idle chatter that once filled your conversations will be replaced by words of remembrance, supplication, and reflection on the greatness of Allah. Your eyes will focus more on what pleases Allah rather than what leads to heedlessness. You will begin to see the world through the lens of faith, noticing the beauty in Allah's creation and being reminded of His power and mercy in every moment. Your heart will feel peace and contentment in the remembrance of Allah, even when the world around you is chaotic. But it's not just your thoughts and words that will change. Your actions will reflect this transformation. Your time and wealth will be used in ways that reflect your devotion to Allah. You will find yourself spending more time in worship, in charity, in service to others, knowing that what is with Allah never perishes. You will become more generous with your wealth, more compassionate in your actions, and more conscious of how you spend your time. This is not about being perfect, but about being sincere in your efforts to please Allah. Your life will begin to align more with His will, and you will seek opportunities to serve others, knowing that in helping others, you are helping yourself to grow closer to Allah. The third and final sign of an accepted act of worship is that your hope in Allah will increase. Your faith in His mercy will no longer be shaken by doubt. You will find a deep sense of confidence in the belief that Allah is always near, always listening, and always ready to forgive. When you raise your hands in dua, you will be certain that He hears you, even if you don't see the immediate results. You will know that Allah, in His infinite wisdom, answers your prayers in the best way, even if it's not how you envisioned. When you repent, You will believe with conviction that Allah forgives all sins, no matter how great. You will no longer fear that your past mistakes define you. Instead, you will believe in Allah's power to transform you, to elevate you, and to write you among the righteous. You will feel the warmth of His forgiveness in your heart, knowing that the past is behind you, and Allah's mercy encompasses all. Your heart will overflow with gratitude for His endless mercy, and you will begin to view every moment as an opportunity to seek His forgiveness and draw nearer to Him. You will no longer question whether the struggles you face are worth it. You will understand that every sacrifice made for Allah, every act of worship performed with sincerity, is more than worth it. Every moment spent in devotion that is valued, Allah